Just when you think you've heard it all, a New Jersey jury is being asked to swallow a supersized defense. 62-year-old Edward Ates, as in I ates too much, is accused of murdering his former son-in-law. But he says he couldn't have done it. No way, no how. Why? Because he's too fat to kill. I'm not making this up. In just a moment, I will be cross-examining his lawyer about this new variation on the old Twinkie defense. There you are. Prosecutors say the 300 pound man, Ates, wanted his former son-in-law dead because of tensions between the accused killer and his victim were strained after an allegedly bitter divorce settlement between Ates' daughter and the victim. On the stand, Ates nixed that theory.
I had no reason to want Paul Dunzak dead. Did you care about him, one way or the other? No, sir. Did you murder Paul Dunzak? No, I did not.
According to the cops, the victim was talking on a cell phone when he was shot 6 times. His fiancée was on the other end of the line. This clip from ABC News.
Suddenly he started to scream. He said, oh no, and then he stopped speaking.
The weighty question for the jury: could this obese man manage to do a flight of stairs, clean up the crime scene, and then hustle off in a quick getaway, driving 21 hours to his mom's house? If the jury says yes, he could do that even though he's overweight, he could get up to 20 years in the slammer, where I hear the food ain't so great. So a lot is at stake here. We do have some serious matters tipping the scales of justice. Back with my fantastic panel, and joining me now, Walter Lesnevich, the very creative defense attorney representing Edward Ates, as in I ates too much. Your client is accused of shooting the victim with a gun. Now, how is his weight a factor in his ability to pick up a gun and fire a weapon?
It's not just his weight. It's everything that goes along with being morbidly obese. Diabetes, hypertension, sleep apnea, physical movement restrictions. The man was 62 at the time, 5'8" and almost 300 pounds. The killer shot upward, 4 stairs down, and then jumped up 4 stairs and fired 2 shots straight into the victim. The coroner testified to this. He then put 4 more shots straight in, never missed. A man of Ates' body mass going up 4 stairs is going to have some heavy breathing. He's going to be going, and that gun's going to move. To hold it perfectly straight and not miss 7 shots is impossible. And
I gotta say something. So. You're a good attorney. If I ever get in trouble, I'm calling you.
But the doctor
I am calling you, my friend.
We have medical testimony, unrefuted internist, and this isn't subjective. Ates spent 3 nights in a hospital being tested overnight for sleep disorders, sleep apnea.
You're saying that he was too sleepy? Okay, Judge Karen.
No, this is Michelle.
Michelle. Okay, all right, Michelle, take it away. Somebody.
Thank you. I mean, we also know that people who are small and weak can lift up cars when they get an adrenaline rush. You know, our bodies take over in moments of stress, fight or flight, and we'll do what we need to do to get done. And clearly, this could, I find it very interesting.
Well, I mean, look at sumo wrestlers.
The doctor said exactly no. The doctor addressed exactly that issue. The doctor said, you can lift up a car. An old lady can lift up a car to free her child, but she cannot hold the car up for 21 hours.
But isn't there some other evidence against the defendant in this case? Isn't there some computer evidence that he was searching on how to commit the perfect murder?
Using
how
a
to
silencer.
pick a lock on a sliding glass door? Don't they also have some wiretaps where he's talking to his sister and his mother and saying, let's make sure we all have our story straight? I mean, isn't there some evidence that his sister lied to the police about where he was the day before, and his 83-year-old mother?
Okay, Walter, answer briefly.
There's circumstantial evidence. There's no eyewitness. There's no fingerprints. There's no DNA. There's very good circumstantial evidence. There's also medical testimony, unrefuted, that he physically couldn't have done it. And there's an unrefuted eyewitness who saw Ed's car in Louisiana a half hour after the murder in New Jersey.
All right, hold on. Wait. I just want to say one thing, please. He's got good enough facilities to drive 21 hours to visit his mother. okay, and drive a car, but he doesn't have the facilities to hold a gun and shoot it? Give me a break.
All right, hold on.
He can hold the gun.
We have heard of the abuse excuse, but now we are exploring the obese excuse. Okay, it's being used in defending Edward Ates, as in I ate too much, against charges that he killed his ex-son-in-law. Here's a clip from ABC. Listen to this.
In bright daylight in August, the fat old man's running and nobody sees him.
I would find that very difficult in someone with obstructive sleep apnea who's morbidly obese.
All right, Curtis Lewa, the Guardian Angels. This man, the defendant, is also an experienced marksman with military experience.
No,
and
no.
yeah, so whoa,
Jane?
that's not true.
Not true.
Okay.
Just not
Jane?
true.
That's
Jane?
what's being reported. Go ahead, Curtis.
Jane, fat man's not nimble. Fat man's not quick. We know fat man can't jump over the candlestick. But fat man can take that line and go ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. That much I know, because I got shot by a guy who was 325 pounds, and he air raided me with hollow point bullets.
All right. I think you make a good argument right there. You know, it's not just a matter of being too obese to carry out this crime. Ates said he wasn't there because he was visiting his mama in another state. Now, the prosecutor was not buying that either. Listen to this.
How often did you visit your mother, who you cared for?
I hadn't visited her except for about 30 minutes since 1999.
So from 99 to 06, you spent 30 minutes with your mother.
Approximately, yes.
All right, that sounds kind of like the old kitchen sink strategy, Walter. I mean, if the jury doesn't believe the obese excuse, then he had no motive, and if we don't believe that, well, he had an alibi. I mean, what about the evidence, as we've been talking about here, that he allegedly asked his sister to lie for him?
That evidence is very, very contradicted by the next-door neighbor who says, no, I saw the car there on Wednesday. Let me make a point. This is totally different than a Twinkie defense. Twinkie defense and all of that is, I did it, but here's why. This is, I didn't do it. I physically could not have done it. There's nothing
Wasn't
similar.
there some evidence also
And I have to
that
say
when
that people...
Hold it.
There was
one at a
some
time.
evidence that when he was in Louisiana visiting his mother that same year, that there was a snake in the grass and he shot him and killed him with one shot.
All right, hold on.
Yep.
We've been talking. Let's examine these kind of kooky defenses. Okay, we've heard about the old Twinkie defense, and that's now become sort of a code phrase for any kind of wacky legal defense strategies we all know. You know, it was an actual real tactic used in the defense of Dan White, who was accused of assassinating gay rights activist Harvey Milk and San Francisco Mayor George Moscone in the late 70s. White was convicted of voluntary manslaughter. Now, Ronnie Zamora's lawyer argued that Zamora had TV intoxication from watching violent shows like Kojak, and that's why he fatally shot his elderly neighbor. The jury didn't buy that and convicted him. But here is the absolutely strangest defense of all from Tonda Ansley. She was one in a string of defendants who claimed the movie The Matrix turned them into murderers. But in her case, the Twinkie-esque Matrix defense convinced the jury to find her not guilty by reason of insanity. So I think actually, Walter, if your client gets off, this is really going to be a watershed moment, and it's going to set one for the record books here.
Again, this is very different. Those people said they did the act. They had an excuse. This is a case where we say the act was not committed. Very different.
I actually think it's also, I mean, people who are overweight should be offended by this. I mean, to say that he couldn't go up 4 steps, I personally, my father is overweight and has diabetes and all those things. And, you know, I think if he was vengeful and angry, that could happen. I mean, I just think it's offensive to people who are overweight, who still could be healthy and are still agile, that you use this as an excuse.
Well, I think it's another
excuse.
reason why we should all eat healthy and try to stay in good shape, and perhaps that is the lesson we have to take away from it. Walter, thank you so much again. You are one fantastic lawyer. A big thanks to our entire fantastic panel. Now we're moving on.